Alright, we're going to be watching Chury, maybe that's how you pronounce this, hopefully, who's going to be playing Reaper on Rialto. This is Gold 5 on console, PS4. How do we lose this game? Gold 5 Reaper in need of assistance. Honestly, I don't have much to say on this match. That's how bewildered I am. I feel like I played pretty well. Of course, I had my moments and made a few mistakes, especially during the third round where I wasn't pulling out fights quick enough or going to a fight without my fade, but I really cannot tell why on earth we lost. I think the Sombra pick was weak, because they played Sombra briefly. I want to get good with her, but I most definitely am not, so I switched back to Reaper towards the end of the round. It felt like my team were not able to control without me adding constant damage pressure as Reaper, but I think that idea caused me to become more tanky the third round. In the fourth round, I saw my mistakes and became too offsidey? I want to blame the supports because they died a significant number of times and did less healing than the enemy team, but they felt adequate while we were playing. And it's easy to blame anyone but yourself, so I asked for help. If anyone can watch my replay and give me some feedback, it would be very, very appreciated. We're not going to watch this whole replay. Oh, hopefully that wasn't too loud. We're not going to watch the whole replay, so I'm going to answer specifically, why did you lose, right? And the short answer is, that it's about timing your pressure with your team, right? I think this is really common for DPS players, especially at lower ranks, where they attack without their team, right? Or their team attacks without them, because you're not really thinking, hey, when do we actually synchronize and have both of us attack together? That's most effective. And because you do your own thing, like this often happens with Tracer, where Tracer goes in and tries to take a fight before the team's ready, and then Tracer does nothing. And then Tracer rewinds, and then the Tracer's team goes in, gets wiped, and Tracer's like, well, my team wiped. What do I do? Well, the answer was go in with them, not before them. So this also happens sometimes, like people like Sombra, right? Here's like Sombra, where sometimes they will spend too long getting in position while invisible, and then their team will die before they even got to engage, and they're like, what the heck? But it's kind of your job to, your tank's the one who sets the pace, right? So you have to be ready to go in when your tank goes in. So the biggest overarching thing here is simply like that timing. There's definitely some areas for improvement here from a mechanical perspective, but you're probably aware of that, would be my guess. Aim is not great at times, but, is what it is, right? We're going to focus on, the relatively easy part of learning this, which is this game is so easy if you just follow your team. So we're going to start out here. You're going to crouch and you walk over here. I think this is fine if you want to take this flank. All right, so you've teleported over here, and then you decide to just sit here for a while. Alright, we're finally going. Okay, that's fine. You looked, you saw the cart going. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, I could already tell from the fact that they weren't contesting the cart that you could have just come up here. They probably are going to be able to see you no matter what. It's not like it's a short distance from here to there, so I would have just gone up and pressured earlier, but that's fine. It's not, in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal. Good example why, look, if you just follow the cart, because honestly, you could just follow the cart and push up here. If you teleport right now, you could teleport up and kill the Baptiste, which would be big. There is a mega health pack over there if you really want to go get that one. There's a mini in here. Just noting, I would go get the mini right now. So the goal here of Reaper, that gonna need epic pen. All right. So the goal here as Reaper is my team is going to push in, okay? And then I am going to push in as well at the same time, right? Either that way or around the backside over there. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this very specific timing engagement right now. So my team is starting to go in, so I want to be in position. I don't want to be here. I want to be here. And you could just, for example, teleport over here, or you can teleport over here, wherever you end up wanting to go. You want to be ready to go wherever it ends up being, so that when they start pressuring right now, your team, you're ready to go. So as they're going over here, you could start fighting here. You can drop behind the Bastion, potentially two-shot him by shooting him in the back, right, and then Wraith away. You got some options here. But I would want to be getting ready right now. That shot you just fired does no damage. And when I say no damage, I mean no damage. Okay? Who did you shoot here? You shot the Baptiste, okay? Baptiste at 233. It's a little tricky because he gets shot right before it. But you literally do 4 damage to the Baptiste. There is no point shooting that far away, and you need to know that as Reaper. You have to understand your effective range. I have a guide on effective range for Reaper, right, where I demonstrate just how bad the damage fall-off is, right, both the damage fall-off mechanic and also the spread mechanic. Just don't shoot people when you're far away. As a general rule, I would say, we imagine this path right here, I think your optimal distance is this here, right, maybe even a little closer, then out to here. Let me redraw this. Obviously, it's going to depend a little bit on target, but in this range, you're doing about 200 damage per second. In this range, you're doing about 150-ish a second, right? Assuming the target's large enough, like a tank. If it's not, it's just going to drop a lot. Once you're out here, your damage is going to be maybe 70 damage a second, and once you're out here, your damage is going to be like 20 damage a second. Like, the damage drop-off is absolutely massive as you start moving further and further away, which means when you're at this, don't even bother shooting, right? Even here, I think it's questionable if you should shoot, depending, like, obviously they're low, like, kill them, but otherwise you should be looking to constantly get within, like, 5-10 meters max of the enemy, otherwise you're not going to do any damage. So right now, we can already see, hey, look, you're flanking right now. But, like, you see how you're taking too much time? Like, your team's in a fight. Your Genji just died. Like, your team is committed. They're, like, here fighting. Like, everyone's here. You could have just walked out here and helped them. You could have walked out this door and helped them. You could have already been in position here and been walking out here. But your timing is just no good, right? Your team is fighting without you right now. And now your team is down 1. And now your team is down 2. And you see, like, now you're over here. Now you're in position. But you're taking way too long to set up, right? Like you could have gone a long time ago. But that's fine. Like, you're going to sit up here. Genji can come up, right? Genji messes up here. Okay, good. We really should have killed him on either one of those 2 shots, but we'll take it, right? You got to pick. That's good. So right now, you could drop down here, right? You can get the mini, and you can kill the Baptiste. This Baptiste is out of position. So just walk down the stairs. Walk down the stairs like here. Go over here, right? Cut the Baptiste off as he's trying to retreat, and then kill him, or force bubble, or something. Like, do something here, because you have no real ability to die right now. In between the mini, the Wraith, and the fact that your team has already respawned, you can't die right now. So you could definitely go after that Baptiste right now. Oh yeah, plus there's self-regen now. By the way, all the walking around you do is very, very loud, and it's super obvious to the enemy team that you're there. All right, Baptiste comes up. All right, bubble force. That's great. So now I'm looking. Look, hey, when's my Orisa coming in? So right now is when I want to go, because now I see the Orisa's close enough that I want to go. So you can just drop down right now, and you could kill the Bastion, you can kill the Moira, whatever you want to do, just drop. Okay, so we're going to drop right here. So this is a good spot. So your timing is finally good. I would say a little bit earlier, but your timing is good. Okay, your team has even gotten a pick here. This should be an easy win, and it is going to be a win, but you're not going to do a great job here. So funny thing is, in this situation, I think I would just shoot the Bastion, because as a reminder, you do 206 damage per second, so Moira can't out-heal that, right? Like, with Healing Orb, she only does about 130, which is a lot, right? That's because you're done about 70 damage per second, but it's not for that long, right? You can just absolutely shred this Bastion, but if you can get close enough, shoot the Moira first, I think that's fine. I'm just noting that the Bastion was the closest target, and you can kill him in 3 shots, so it's not that big a deal. But if we're going to go with the Moira, that's fine. But if we're going to go with the Moira, the big downside of shooting the Moira is A, I can't kill her because she's going to fade away, and B, she's a smaller target than the Bastion, so I'm going to miss more. So we're going to see right here, this is a gigantic miss right now, okay? That is another huge miss right here. That completely whiffs the Moira and, like, clips the Bastion. And then finally you hit the Bastion, which I would have shot all along, and then he dies. So, what's kind of the takeaway here? The takeaway is, your aim is not good. So, if you want to climb, right, like, remember, if you start climbing, the games are going to get harder and harder and harder, because everyone you climb into, in, let's say, Platinum, they're going to be ones who can just dominate all the gold players. If you have this much trouble aiming at somebody who is not even trying to hit you, or trying to dodge you, rather, like, she's just going backwards in a straight line, right? Like, she had no idea you were there, etc., and you just completely whiffed, what, like 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3, whatever it was? That's not very good. And it's really hard because you're an ambush hero, right? Like, you have very small opportunities to hit people, so when you are close enough, you need to make sure to hit those shots. It's going to be an issue. Okay, so now comes another part. I see a Genji over here, and I see the Genji goes behind this planter. Now, obviously, in replay review, we can see that there's a Genji there. But if you're in game, you should also know the Genji's here. Genji does not have any teleportation powers, he doesn't have any invisibility powers, which means if the Genji shoots you from here, and then steps behind this, the Genji must still be here. Like, he could dash away maybe, but I'd have to see the dash. So what I would do, is I would literally just run over to the planter and be like, I think this Genji is still here, right? Then go here and be like, oh, there's Genji. And then now I shoot him, and I force deflect or dash or whatever it ends up being. You don't seem to realize this, you just don't, like, have that level of awareness, and so you teleport away, and this Genji sits right here, and then nobody seems to notice. It doesn't actually make a big difference, but it's a good example of the fact that you just don't have, like, the game sense of awareness of a better player, right? It's, like, super obvious, like, even in this short clip, like, literally, you saw the Genji shoot at you, right? Right Now, you saw him shoot at you. He shoots at you. He hits you with multiple shurikens. He's right here. He still has to be right there. The only way you can get away is to dash or walk away, and you would see either one of them. Just go over there and force it out. Right? Again, this is like really silly to not have done this. But that's not the real problem here. Eventually, the Genji's going to get found. Deflect forest, dash forest. Okay, he gets out. So, let's watch this fight from afar. Okay, Lucio's in. Right? Lucio's in on your team. And now, what is this? The Tracer's in right now. Lucio's going to go in. He's going to boop. This is actually a good boop. Zenyatta boops the Zenyatta out of position. Gets shot by the Tracer. Gets shot by the Moira. And then Lucio dies, but trades out for the Zen. Right? Now the Genji's here. Genji dashes to your Baptiste. As a reminder, there's no other support now to help him. So we're going to watch the Genji right now. He's fighting the Bap. Right? Fight. Bap leaves the lamp. Lamp dies anyway. Now he kills the Bap. So now you're down 2 supports. Right? So now it's a 3-on-4 situation. So the odds of you winning is pretty low. Continue applying pressure. Genji's over here, right? Fighting. Oh, look, there you are. Well, the problem is now it's a 2-on-3, and they have respawn advantage, and you're all going to die, and that's going to be the end of the game. So, what went wrong here? Well, what went wrong here is you just literally weren't doing anything during the most important phase of the fight. The enemy team takes a fight relatively early. Okay, when that Lucio dives in, like the critical moment is right now where this Lucio goes in after the Zen. Now Lucio is making a mistake here, but this is gold / silver. People make mistakes, but he manages to make just enough of a play by knocking the Zen out of position. And when he knocks the Zen out of position, Tracer does a good job burning him down, as does the Moira. Your Baptiste isn't quick enough to recognize what happens, throws a lamp slightly late, and that means that the Zen ends up dying. So that ends up trading out. And this never happens if you're here with the team. Like, you could have been here, you could have intercepted the Lucio, for example. You could have been here, intercepting the Moira and the Tracer. Or you could have been here, going after the enemy team. Or you could have been here, dropping down to the enemy team. And yeah, maybe your Zen dies, but maybe you trade out and kill somebody else for it. But instead, you're doing nothing. And you see, at this moment in time, your team is, taking some damage here, right? Again, Zen dies right now. Your Genji is dashed in, so the fight is committed. Genji has no escape plan at this point in time. And you drop down and you go after the tank. But again, you've traded out one hero on both sides right now, and you're going after the highest health hero on the opposing team who also has their bubbles. Which means the Genji, conversely, is going after the Baptiste, who has already used up Lamp and maybe Regen Burst. Yeah, Lamp and Regen Burst. Who's getting more value here? The enemy Genji versus your Baptiste, or you versus the enemy Zarya, right? And also there's a Tracer here, and the Moira is here to heal as well. Do you see how this Genji is getting way more value than you are? And that's what really snowballs this fight here. Because the Genji's going to go out here and he's going to make a play. Again, it is a 4-on-4, right? Winnable situation. You traded your support for the enemy support, right? Totally winnable right now. But, you go down, you shoot the Zarya, twice, and immediately get forced out. Meanwhile, the Genji kills your BAP. The second the BAP is killed, the fight is basically over, right? But you do yourself no favors, right? You're not doing anything right now that is actually valuable. And as a result, the fight ends up being out of your control, right? Basically, you're sitting here hoping that your team is going to carry you to victory because you're not doing anything. Whenever you're not doing anything, you're saying to your team, hey, look, guys, I suck. Please win the fight for me. And thus, since it's the last fight of the game, please win the game for me. You never want to put yourself in that position, right? You never want to be the person who is throwing the fight, but you are inadvertently throwing the fight because you wait so long to engage, despite the fact that you have people in your team, right? And you engage the worst target, and you engage at the worst possible timing, because now you have 2 heroes really, really close to you, right? In addition to the tank, which means you can't out-damage the Moira with the Zarya, you can't out-damage the bubbles, and the Tracer forces out Wraith right away, and now you're low. That's why you lose. It's really that simple. Literally, if you just played with your team, this is good, right? If you just sat here, controlled this angle, right? Lucio never gets in right here. Yeah, blast. I don't kill him, but he goes back. Then Zen's never out of position. Then I can push this angle, right? Or I can push this angle, whatever I want to do. Or I can teleport this side and play here. Or I can teleport here and play and then drop down. But just being out of position and taking way too long to do anything, that's what gets you a loss. And we already saw symptoms of that earlier on in just the previous fight, right? Where it took you way too long to get set up and do anything. And the same problem is happening here. That's why you lose. It's that easy. Now, the takeaway here should not be, oh, I should sit with my team the whole time, because that's not the way Reaper works, typically, right? The takeaway here is, I need to be doing something at the most important times of the fight. And if the enemy team is diving my team, I need to either be countering that dive, or I need to be zoning the rest of the enemy team, or I need to be threatening the opposing team as much or more than they're threatening mine. And that's the real problem, is you don't get anything done, right? Again, you go after the tank, who is the most durable target, right? And you do it in front of a tracer, point blank in front of a tracer, and you do it with the Moira pocketing her. So nothing happens. And the Genji, meanwhile, makes a play, kills the BAP. What's the BAP going to do, right? He has no lamp and he has no regen burst. Like, he's used up all his options. The enemy Zen, or your friendly Zen was already dead, so there's no help. Nobody in your team turns back for the Genji, including you. And it's easy carry from there. Alright, I'm going to hold there. Again, short one, but hopefully helpful to kind of make you think about the timing of when you fight and like the value that you need to provide in order to win fights.